Okay, Orville, you are not on here real quick, but I've got the toast made, so I'm going to go ahead and record this here real quickly. You told me I needed to put the butter on the toast first, so let's get that done. And I don't know how this works as far as whether or not you're supposed to dip the butter knife into the Vegemite or not, but I brought a second knife just in case. So here we go. The jar is being opened. Does it have a safety seal on it? I bet it does. It does not. Okay. So interesting smell. It kind of smells a little bit nutty. It does smell, I don't know if you can smell salty or not, but I was told not to put a whole bunch on here. Somebody said to just go ahead and eat it out of the jar with a spoon. And I said, I'm smarter than that. I'm smart enough to know not to do that. So, well, it looks like chocolate sauce, but I know it's not going to taste like that. Am I correct on that, Harper?
Yes, it definitely does not taste like chocolate sauce. And I don't know how big a piece of bread is, but that looked like a fairly sizable chunk of Vegemite. You might be in for a bit of a shock with the amount you're putting on.
So that's too much?
Oh, wow. That is like hardcore Vegemite eaters.
Okay. You know what?
Vegemite.
Should I take a little bit off then?
I'd probably recommend that because
okay.
it's very extreme, a bit of a refined taste.
Okay, well, here we go. So got the corner with a lot of butter on it here, so we'll see how this goes. Okay. Oh, whoa.
Extreme?
Not as much as I thought it was going to be. I don't know if I'll be needing a second jar of it, quite frankly, but it's not awful at all. And I guess it is certainly an acquired taste. It is it's something that I wow. Yeah, I don't know how best to, I mean, it is salty, but honestly, it's not as salty as I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be a lot saltier than what people were saying. So it's not as bad. And if you notice, I haven't jumped over here to get my cup of coffee yet. It's going to happen soon, but it hasn't happened yet. It is interesting. You know, I may try it again, but it's yeah, I'm glad I took off the X. I didn't think I put that much on, but I guess I did. I mean, it's
oh yeah, it's not like peanut butter or anything like that. It's really like put the amount you put on, even in Australia, that would be considered overboard for most people.
Okay, yeah, because I left quite a bit of it on the knife after I cleaned up the second time there. So there's and I won't put that back in the jar, but that's interesting. So this is something that not everybody eats in Australia though, but some people who do eat it absolutely love it.
Yeah, you're right. But I think, yeah, it's a love it or hate it kind of thing. And the majority of people in Australia that are born and bred Australians really like it, I'd say.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. And I was saying that I'm a much bigger fan or advocate of like putting honey on my toast. So this is completely the opposite of going that direction. I almost think you could. I almost think that you could use this as kind of like a condiment with like a turkey sandwich or something of that nature. It can almost be like a substitute for mustard, maybe.
Yeah, well, I have it in my sandwiches all the time. I'm vegetarian, so I've never had a turkey sandwich in my life. Couldn't tell you if it's turkey, but yeah, it's in sandwiches. I rate it very highly. I'd say 90% of my school lunches were Vegemite and cheese and maybe some lettuce in a sandwich. Vegemite and cheese, I've got to say, classic combo. It's
Okay.
It's rare to have a plain Vegemite sandwich. You usually put a bit of cheese in it.
And that might make it a little bit more, I don't want to say palatable, because it's not a taste in my mouth that I'm going, oh, this is horrible, I have to get rid of it. It's just something, as you said, a Vegemite virgin. It is a whole new, it's something that's on a different plane from anything I've ever had before. So I wow. I'm gonna have to think about this and whether or not I do try it. But I think with maybe some good chunk of cheddar or something of that nature around here, or something along those lines, or Monterey Jack cheese or something, that it might be a nice accompaniment. But I don't know if it as far as a standalone, slop it on some toast before I head off to work in the morning. I don't know if I'll be doing that, but it's certainly I can now say I've tried it, so that's a thing. And
exactly, one to tick off the bucket list, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's right up there with when I was in the Philippines having monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah, when I was in the Navy, when I had monkey when I was in the Navy there, so it was. I don't remember much about that, because I think I had probably had one too many beers that evening, and somebody said, "Hey, we're having monkey," and I said, "Sure, whatever," and it was like monkey jerky. So that was unique. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I will have it again, at least as a standalone. I may try it with some cheese mixed with it, because I think that might make for an interesting combination.
Yep, and there's lots of different. I think Vegemite and cheese is definitely the main combo, but you can put it on some. I don't know what you call them in America. Crackers, biscuits.
Yeah.
Spread it on that. With a bit of butter, a bit of cheese. Sandwich, of course. I've seen like recipes going around with like Vegemite pasta. I've never had that myself, but I don't know. There's some kind of fancy ice cream places have Vegemite ice cream, which I think is actually quite nice, to be honest. As weird as but I guess
I've done it. I've tried it. It is
a round of applause for you.
I have taken the plunge. So will I have a second bite?
You should, I reckon. Dive into it. Do it for the viewers.
I probably should. That one had a little less butter on it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Still interesting.
Still interesting, but it's not. Yeah.
I don't usually have it with butter, to be honest. I mostly have it in sandwiches, just Vegemite and cheese, a bit of lettuce. So, I think the butter definitely kind of diminishes the kind of extreme,
the sharpness of it, if you will.
The shock, the sharpness. Yeah. But I think maybe if you put a bit less on.
Yeah, and I guess I could actually get to where there was even scraping what's on there right. Well, I'm now scraping the bread apart here because it's soaked in, but I could still get another little bit off of there with the other knife. So I probably had maybe more on there than I needed to. Yeah, because I saw somebody post something about how much Vegemite do you put on your bread, and it was like somebody had just a little bit of brown, and then another one you couldn't even see the bread, and I knew not to go that direction, and I guess I went maybe further there than I thought I was going to. But it's I've done it, so
you've done it. There you go.
I don't know if I'll do it again. Well, thanks for sitting in on this, and those of you who have not, first of all, Orville, thank you so very much for sending this. This was a very interesting treat, and treat is a word that I'm going to use somewhat loosely. But yeah, I have had it. It's ooh, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look, calorie wise, it looks pretty decent. It looks, looks pretty healthy for you. It's got riboflavin and
Yeast is like the big thing.
Yeah.
I think it's yeast extract.
Yeah.
That's like Vegemite yeast extract.
folate or folate, niacin, and riboflavin. So it's got all those things that they put in bread. So
yeah, I think they make it out of like leftover brewing yeast.
Yeah, that's what if I'm not mistaken, like from when they're making beer. Yeah. So
yeah, the leftovers from it.
So you're too young to answer this question, but do people typically do like the crackers or the biscuits and cheese with beer then as an accompaniment to this?
Well, I'm not too young to answer the question. I'm old enough to have beer.
Okay. Well,
18 in Australia,
yeah.
Which is all right. But I've never gone the Vegemite and crackers and beer combo.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a big thing, really. I think Vegemite isn't. I don't know if it's really. There's a traditional combo with like Vegemite and a certain type of drink. Yeah, maybe I'm mistaken, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head that it goes with drinks wise.
Okay. It is.
Yeah.
It is unique. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here because I'm going to. That is, it's still hitting me here. I'm at the flavor it's still there, and I don't think it's the smell necessarily, because I don't think there's much. Now that it's out of the jar, the smell is not troublesome at all. But there's that residual flavor that I'm just not quite
used to. Yeah,
yeast to.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. So thanks for stopping on here. I'm glad somebody was here to watch me go through this and tell me tell me the first time through, hey, dummy, you've got too much on there. I'm glad you did that, because if had I done this by myself, I probably would have had and left that on there. I probably would have had a much different reaction than I did, because it might have been too overwhelming. So you talk me through that.
Well, I'm in a family household of 4. We all have Vegemite fairly frequently, I'd say. And we probably only go through one every 1 or 2 months, one jar, because, it's just not something that's recommended in high doses. I think it's...
Yeah, this is a 220 gram jar.
I think we usually go the 375, 350.
Okay.
Something.
Okay. So this is... This is plenty. This is plenty for my household. This is more than enough.
You having it will last you a year, I reckon. Yeah. And if you don't have it at all, it will last you forever. So.
It may last me at least a year. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's I can see it. If this is something that you are born and raised with, this is something you've grown up on, I can definitely see it being a taste that's one that you've become accustomed to, that you enjoy. I may come back to it again, probably not in pasta, but
good idea.
Yeah, but this was interesting. So again, Orville, thanks for sharing this with me. Folks, if you have not listened to episode 94 of my podcast, it's the first half of my interview with Orville. And just a fascinating guy. I called him a hero in the title, and it's not because he sent me the Vegemite. I truly believe that he is. Having saved lives the way that he did. The second half of the interview is going to be out this week, and it's equally as fascinating. Things that went on in his family tree, as I mentioned in earlier posts, that quite frankly could have changed the history of the 20th century. Orville, how are you doing, sir? Good morning or good evening. He's connecting to audio right now. Hello there, sir.
Oh, good evening, Craig. How are you?
I'm good. I have had a little bit already.
Oh, you cheat.
I wasn't sure if you were going to see the note or not. I will have some more. So
Okay.
yeah, I will have some. You'll find I have been very complimentary to you in this.
Nice.
I've said that this may be the only jar of this that I ever need. But let's give it. Well, I still have coffee in my cup here, so let's give it one more shot here, so it can be. Yeah, it's this is my favorite bread here. My wide pan 12 grain bread. So pretty good stuff here. So we'll go one more time here. I was told that initially that I had put too much on the bread. Harper said you got too much on there, so I took a little bit off because I'd put a little more on than I needed. So that ended up coming off the bread.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're going to work up to it, Craig.
yes, I guess I took the approach where you go to the little lake as a 3-year-old and your parent just takes you to the end of the dock and throws you in and says, "Here, swim."
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what I did today. So
Really threw yourself into the deep end.
I did. I did.
Very early.
Yeah, as I said, it was not as salty as I thought it was going to be,
Okay.
but it is still a very interesting taste. Yeah, and I hadn't cracked open the jar until I started the video, so I didn't smell it ahead of time. I did not know what I was going to be getting myself into with it here. So, but it is it's not as bad as I thought. And Harper was mentioning that I should possibly use it as like a condiment on a sandwich, like a cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
That sort of thing as well.
Yep.
So I thought, maybe having like a good chunk of cheddar or Monterey Jack cheese or something like that to go with it.
Yep.
Might help.
Cheese and Vegemite is a school lunchbox staple over here.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Classic lunch meal.
Yep.
Yeah, that is interesting. It is I like I said, I think I can safely say it's not the favorite thing that I've ever had.
Right.
But it's probably not the worst. Well, actually, if I'm not mistaken, if I read the jar correctly, it grows on beer.
Yeah, it does. It's the leftovers from making beer.
Yeah, it's so it doesn't come off that thick, so they must have to do some kind of processing with it in order to get it to this.
I don't know exactly what they do to it, but the recipe is almost 100 years old.
And
it was invented in the 1920s.
Yeah, and who the heck thought of this? Who thought? Let's do something with this.
Someone has been taking too many drugs.
Wow. Yeah, it is interesting. And like I said, it's not, for those of you who are going to tune into this, I'm actually going to go ahead and I will release the video of this as well for sure, which I don't normally put out video, but I'm going to release the audio as well, because I think just, talking through it. I mean, I have a couple witnesses here who have seen me eating it, and I've gone through about 2/3 of this slice of toast, and I don't think I'm going to make it to 3/4 of it. But I'm gonna pace myself.
Calm yourself.
Yes, yeah. I can't go overboard with this, but it's but I did realize though that I didn't see the instructions as I was telling Harper. I didn't know if it was acceptable to put the butter on the toast first and then dip the butter knife into the Vegemite, so I brought out a separate knife for it. So I wasn't sure how that was supposed to work.
Yeah, you use the same knife, butter and Vegemite. Yeah.
Okay.
Just get the butter knife like nice and clean, wiping it off. Not wiping it.
On the side of the toast,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting. It's now it does say that that they add flavors to it. So
Yeah, they had a whole lot of chemical stuff.
So it's the address is 1 Vegemite Way, Port Melbourne, Victoria.
Yeah.
Port Melbourne, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know Melbourne. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It was originally made in Brisbane.
Was it?
Another Queensland product goes down the tubes. No wonder it's got additives that you don't want.
It is yeah, I did it.
Yeah, but it could be a bit of a relic of the Great Depression when the people were kind of scrounging for food, looking for creative ways to make new spreads.
That's a great point. That's a
maybe.
great point.
I don't know.
They made it before. It was made in the 1920s. It was before
1920s.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, fair enough.
Think about 1922. It might be 100 years old this year. Just a moment. I'll click out. Just have a quick.
The jar says proudly made in Australia since 1923.
1923. Yep.
Yep. So
Fair enough.
now this particular jar is not from that far back, I don't believe.
No, but it wouldn't matter if it stays fresh forever.
Okay.
It does.
Wow.
You could come back in 50 years and there wouldn't be anything growing on it.
So on the off and I'm not going to do this, but on the off chance that I were to tuck this away on the top shelf in the back corner of my cupboard in my kitchen, and then we move out of the house and the people that buy the house clean out, are cleaning the cupboards and find that 10 years later and open it up, that would still be okay for them.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to.
Dehydrate.
Yeah.
Nothing can grow on it. The only thing that can grow on it is kids.
Oh, that's
drop bears don't seem to mind it if they can't get.
Do you know that line right there is that an advertising line that they actually have used for it? Because if they haven't, that would be a great line for the company to sell the product. But nothing grows on it but kids. I mean, that's a pretty interesting line there. So I like that.
I might try and sell it to them.
Yeah, you can get yourself another guitar.
Yeah. I'm actually going to order one this week. I decided I needed another 12 string.
Okay.
So I'm going to put the order in this week.
Good deal. Well, I'll tell you what, I am going to go ahead and clean up my mess here. I just, I've got and it's just, I need to put the butter back in the fridge and all that sort of thing. But it's I truly appreciate you sharing this with me. This is like I said, this is something that I've never had before, never had the opportunity.
Right.
Yeah, I was telling Harper just a moment ago, I said, I've had some strange things. I said, probably the most bizarre thing I ever had was when I was in the Philippines and I had monkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that was, and that has to be the most bizarre. I mean, I had snails a couple of times in Alaska, which were good.
Yeah.
But, this, I tend to be a little conservative with the stuff that I eat. I'm not,
I ate some pretty bizarre stuff on survival courses in the army, but I still think that the strangest thing I've ever eaten was fried rat.
oh,
I bought that in a roadside stall in Thailand. They're not sort of rodent rats. They're specially bred like rabbits in hutches.
right.
It was
right.
really funny. It was really funny. I sort of, somebody told me about this vendor that was selling rat, and I said, "Is this really rat?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "You eat rat?" And yeah. Oh, it's really good. Try some. So I did, and I said, "It tastes a bit like rabbit." And he says, "You eat rabbit?" Yeah.
Yeah, I've not had rabbit before. I remember when I was a kid, I tried chocolate covered ants.
All right. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why they were doing that, but I had a student of mine who about 4 or 5 years ago would come in. He was just trying to bulk up with a lot of protein, and he would come into class a couple times a week, and he would have a little plastic container with dried crickets,
Oh yeah.
and just eating crickets like they were candy.
Yeah.
And that was his thing. So, and
On
he
the
got
train-
I've had a chocolate cricket bar once,
Yeah.
despite being a vegetarian with my wife. They were like, there was something outside of university, like offering, like, this is the future, have a chocolate cricket bar. My mate and I just decided to take one each. Pretty nice, to be honest. Doesn't really taste that unusual. It just tastes like a normal chocolate bar, really. Bit of extra protein. Don't mind it.
Nothing wrong with that then. Yeah,
Yeah.
In Burma, they sell chocolate-coated grasshoppers on the trains. It'd probably be pretty similar.
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this has been interesting. And I as Harper said, I am no longer a Vegemite virgin. I have yeah, I guess I know the secret handshake or whatever it is that I have to know, and it's
it's like that.
Yes.
Vegemite.
Yeah. Was that what Churchill was doing all those years?
Yes, it was. Yeah,
The original ambassador.
victory.
Man, oh man, oh man. Okay. Hey,
The Dutch make a similar product out of apples called apple strop.
Huh.
I don't know how they spell that, but it's like Vegemite made from apples. Has a slight apple taste to it, but
I was gonna say it would have to be a little sweeter, I would think.
Yeah, it probably is, but yeah, I did try it once, but yeah, it didn't grow on me. I never went back for seconds.
Yeah. Wow. That is on a you see, I can't give it a when you grade something on a scale of 1 to 10 or something like that, I don't have a frame of reference to score it on. I can't say, well, this is better than this or it's worse than this, because this is a completely new thing.
It's a unique product.
Yeah. I don't know if it was okay. I can't say that I loved it, but I certainly cannot say that I hated it either.
Right, that's good.
I may have to come back and try it again.
That's a good idea.
Possibly outside of the purview of people, so they're not watching me and poking fun at me, that sort of thing. But it was an interesting thing, and Harper, I can't thank you enough for telling me that I had too much on there to start out. Okay, because
might have saved his life, Harper.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if my wife knows how to turn off a live stream here, but I would have just maybe collapsed on the floor. But I have gone through. I will tell you, since I had the first one, I've got I have about one sip. I mean, I went through my entire French press of coffee already here. Wow. So it's it has been a very interesting morning. So, and now I get to go watch the Tigers and Eagles game. I do know the outcome though.
I'm glad I didn't tell you what the outcome was.
No, I do know the outcome. I saw the score. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw the score, because that's another one that's one I got wrong.
Mate, the last quarter is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like that the North Melbourne and Giants game was pretty good as well.
Oh, that was a cracker game. I only saw the last 10 minutes or so, but from all accounts of the whole game was amazing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch the highlights reel for that one as soon as we're off here.
Yeah, I looked at the score worm
for the year.
Yeah, I looked at the score worm, and in the third quarter, North was up by like 28 points.
Yeah.
And-
The Giants came back from about 6 goals down. It was an amazing effort.
Yeah. So yeah.
But
Yeah.
the West Coast and Tigers game had a similar ending.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
Josh Kennedy. kicked
Adelaide
the winning
Saints
goal.
was a good game too.
Yes, it was. Yeah. I watched
Yeah.
that one yesterday morning.
Yeah, I haven't seen
That
that
was a
one.
great one.
Well, yeah.
In fact, I haven't even seen the score for that, so I'll be keen to watch the highlights reel.
Well, if you can, yeah, that's that game is not going to turn out the way you thought it was.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So what you think you're watching, you're not actually watching. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that just about knocks the. I can't see the Eagles coming back. The Tigers coming back into the. They're still in the 8,
They're still in the 8. Yeah. But they've
yeah,
got
they're
6.
just-
They've got 6 losses now.
yeah,
This would have
it'll
been a
be
great
hard to come back. It'll be
this
hard to
would've been-
come back from there.
Yeah, this would have been a great opportunity for GWS to get that win and get a
Yeah.
little bit closer. You know, it's a big help to the Bombers.
Big,
Yeah.
big help to the Bombers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big game against Hawthorn next week. I don't know where that will be. Hopefully, I don't know if it'll be in Melbourne, but fingers
It doesn't
crossed.
matter where it is. Hawthorn will lose
Yeah.
that.
Hope so. But after round 1, being 40 points up and still losing to them, I'm not definitely not counting my chickens before they hatched or whatever the saying is.
Yeah, I reckon they paid the umpire in that one.
Really? Wow. I didn't notice the umpiring being that bad in that one, to be honest. I'm not an umpire lover by any stretch of the imagination, but even as a Bomber,
It
Didn't
was,
think-
the umpire today was letting a lot of throws go instead of handballs.
yeah, that
Attack-
happens all the time now.
and
hate
then
it.
just one-handed throw, and there was a lot of that, and it all seemed to be going in the Tigers' direction. They weren't getting penalised for it.
As well, the Josh Kennedy kicking the winning goal, mate, like maybe I haven't seen it properly, but I do not think that was anywhere close to a 15-meter kick that he marked there.
No, that's true too.
Yeah.
That,
It was
that kick from
bit
Ryan.
marginal.
Yeah, Ryan kicked to him just inside the boundary, and it didn't go 15 metres.
So is
But
this
that may have been, I'll be generous and say that could have just been the camera angle.
That's true. But they aren't strict enough on the 15-meter kicks, in my opinion. They have tightened it up a bit this year, but it's a rule that really it's a bit of a pet peeve of mine.
My pet peeve is the guys that get the ball and then they run 25 metres
Yeah, that doesn't happen
without a bounce.
often, does it? It happens a bit, but it's not like 4 or 5 times a game, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Keep a close watch on it because
Well,
there's an awful
I'll take note of it.
way past the 10 metres. Anyway, Craig's probably got something to do.
no, I'm gonna make some more toast.
And put
No, I
something more
don't,
palatable on.
I'm just, I haven't, like I said, I haven't watched the Eagles Tigers game yet, but it sounds like this must be the other side of the Jeremy Cameron 15-meter coin. That
Yeah.
maybe this one went short and that one did go the length, but didn't get rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we shall see what happens. But it's like I said, I'm gonna take a look at that one here this morning and get out and do some more gardening here. But Orville, I cannot thank you enough for sharing this with me. This has been a very unique and interesting treat, and I'm actually thrilled that the two of you are talking, because Orville, I'm going to tell you right now, this young man, he does a podcast as well.
Oh, okay.
He does one called Where Do We Begin? And I'll send you a link to it. But this young man here and his partner, I think have one, and I think you would like it because he he addresses all sorts of different sport in Australia. It's not just footy. It deals with cricket, and he's doing a lot of stuff right now with possible Olympians, that type of thing.
Okay.
He's fantastic. He does a great job, and I talked
Appreciate
to
that,
Harper.
Craig.
I talked to Harper quite a bit, and it's and honestly, I think you two are probably the two people on the planet I talk to more than anybody else. Yeah. So I'm glad the two of you are talking with one another, because one I think he would have some great stories for you, and I think you would love listening to his show as well.
Yeah, I appreciate
the link, Craig.
Yeah, so this is Orville lives up just off the coast of Brisbane, so he's
yeah, I heard that in the podcast. I've got to say, it's one of the strangest ways I've spent my Sunday evening, with one guy in Queensland, one guy in America, watching the guy in America eat a jar of Vegemite for the first time. Bit of a weird one, but it's been a good time.
I couldn't miss it.
well.
Yeah, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I saw the email 9:56, hopped on at 10 p.m.
Yeah,
and we are 10:43, loving life, watching you eat Vegemite toast.
Folks, this was not going to be an episode of A Yank on the Footy, but guess what? It now is. So I am going to post a video. I'm not sure. I have to figure out how to post a video. I don't know if I can just do that live. Post the entire thing. That may take a while to upload, but I'll have to figure that out. But I'm going to definitely post the audio to this. So, hey, folks, if you're listening to this, this was a lot of fun. It was a bit of a challenge, but Orville, I'm so glad you sent this off. Sent this off to me. This was unique. Now, my wife has had Vegemite before, and she told me you're going to hate it, that I wasn't going to like it, because her family had hosted an exchange student from New Zealand back in the 1980s. And she had Vegemite with her and had it quite frequently. So, and she had tried it then, but I don't, so she hasn't tried it since then. And I'm going to guess she's probably not going to have any of it now, because she has already experienced it. But cool. That was most interesting. So
I'm glad you sort of enjoyed it.
I did sort of enjoy it. I said I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I did it. I don't plan on turning this into a food challenge podcast or anything like that, but wow. It was it looks like chocolate sauce to me, but it certainly doesn't taste like it. Yeah, but
I will send you the Queensland product, pineapple jam.
Oh, I've had pineapple jam before, but I've had like orange marmalade, which is similar to that. I'm sure it's similar. I think I can probably find that sort of thing here. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. They'd probably make it in Hawaii.
I would hope so. It'd be pretty stupid of them not to do so. Yeah. It'd be like I hope they don't send it to Alaska to get made there, because that would be kind of
extract of polar bear.
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and
hey Craig,
ship this out there and get it out for people to take a listen to. But Orville, thanks a bunch for sharing this with me.
No worries, mate.
Harper, thanks for coming on and
pleasure,
helping to talk me through this. Okay. Now,
strange experience, but one that I'm happy to help you with.
Now, I do have to ask, the stuff behind you, that's all like sound dampening stuff that you have in your studio there, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I've told you this before, but my dad's like a big muso guy. This is his main kind of studio room. I use it for the podcast. So there's stuff all around. I won't move my laptop because it's like plugged into all these wires.
Right.
But yeah, it's super soundproof. There's like double doors in this whole back section of the house. And he's put some, what do you call them? Those little pad things?
Like sound dampeners, yeah.
Well, yeah, like the little circle things, like doilies or something. Is that what you call them?
Yeah. Okay. Look like they're embroidered.
Yeah. And there's got some guitars there for Dad. yeah, that's it. Get a good sound out of it. I hope people enjoy the sound of the podcast from this.
Well, yours does sound great. And again, if you're listening, folks, you've not checked out Harper and Lockie's podcast, you absolutely need to do so. I've plugged it several times, and I'll continue to do that. But
Thanks.
And help out in whatever way I can. I'm not exactly a big voice on it, but I'm definitely an advocate for them. So, guys,
you are a Cats fan, Harper.
I'm not a Cats fan. I'm not afraid. I definitely do not want to be a Cats fan because I'm a big Bombers man myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't sound too happy with my.
He's okay.
There,
he's okay though.
I'll say the Vegemite with some rat poison in it.
I do step out on Cats fans once in a while, and I do talk to folks that are supporters of other clubs there. But yeah, he's very knowledgeable about the game.
I've got to say, Craig's a lucky guy that I'm still talking to him after he predicted Essendon to finish 17th on the ladder, which is an absolute abomination of a prediction.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I think Hawthorn have got that one stitched up.
Yep. And I believe we did a little preview podcast earlier in the year, Craig, and I said Hawthorn might have the worst list in the AFL. I got a bit of backlash to that, but I think it's not too far off it, to be honest.
No, I think you might be right, actually. I think you might be right. And I have issued my mea culpa. I've said several times that I was completely wrong. Well, keep in mind, I didn't even have Melbourne in my 8.
Yeah,
because I didn't think Melbourne was going to be there, but they've shocked everybody. They've impressed the heck out of me.
Yeah, they've been.
Lockie and I did.
They've been growing.
Lockie and I did our own predictions pre-season.
Mm-hmm.
Top ladder, I had the St Kilda Saints, so that wasn't a great. Probably bit too ambitious for the Saints this year.
Yeah,
pretty well.
And they may bounce back next year, but they're going to definitely get themselves a pretty decent pick this year.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say so, and they're definitely not finishing top of the ladder. So
no,
yeah.
They're down at the bottom of it, holding it up, admiring the view, I guess. So, hey guys, have a great Sunday evening. Okay, I know it's pushing 11 o'clock there.
Yep, no worries.
Take it easy.
Thank you, mate.
Yep.
Great talking to you.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye,
See you, mate.
See ya.